Dixie Pachado stood frozen beneath the string lights of the Love Garden estate in Beverly Hills, California, watching her world crumble in real time. The champagne flute trembled in her hand as midnight approached on New Year's Eve. The cool December air carrying laughter from the 100 guests who had no idea what she'd just witnessed through the glass conservatory doors. Hey everyone! Excited to share today's story. Subscribe, comment, and catch tomorrow's. Randy, her husband of 7 years, his hand sliding down Judy Stewart's spine, pulling her closer in the shadows behind the winter jasmine. Judy, her college roommate, her maid of honor, the woman who'd held Dixie's hand through 2 miscarriages. The kiss wasn't accidental. It was hungry, familiar, rehearsed. Dixie's chest tightened, but something unexpected flickered beneath the devastation. Not rage, not tears, something colder, sharper. She'd built Randy's luxury hotel empire from 3 struggling properties to a $50 million portfolio spanning from Miami to San Francisco, while he took the credit at every investor meeting. She'd smiled through charity galas while he dismissed her contributions as wifely support. And now she would show everyone what a truly powerful woman looked like when she stopped apologizing for her existence. 7 years ago, Dixie had been a recent MBA graduate from UCLA with a vision for transforming hospitality. Randy had been a charming real estate broker with 3 failing boutique hotels he'd inherited from his father. She'd seen potential where others saw debt. Their wedding at the Santa Monica Pier had felt like a fairy tale. Randy had whispered promises about partnership, about building something together. For 3 years, she'd believed him. She'd restructured their finances, negotiated with contractors, designed the signature aesthetic that made Pachado Hotels the choice for celebrities seeking privacy. Forbes had called their turnaround miraculous. The article featured Randy's photo alone. Judy had been there through it all. Late nights reviewing proposals in Dixie's home office in Brentwood. Girls' trips to Napa Valley when the stress became unbearable. Judy worked as a marketing consultant, beautiful, ambitious, and apparently patient enough to wait for the perfect moment to betray her best friend. Across the garden, Randy's business partner, Clayton Hayes, approached with his wife, Marlene. Their concerned faces told Dixie they'd seen it too. She smiled. Happy New Year's Eve. Dixie, honey, we saw... Marlene began, her voice dropping to a whisper. I know. Dixie set down her champagne with deliberate calm. How long have they been standing there? Clayton shifted uncomfortably. Maybe 10 minutes. Listen, Randy's been different lately. Distracted during board meetings. Taking calls he won't explain. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. The business trip to Austin last month. Judy had coincidentally been there for a client. The new cologne Randy wore. The way he'd stopped touching Dixie altogether, claiming exhaustion. Through the conservatory glass, Randy checked his Rolex. Judy straightened her emerald dress, the one Dixie had helped her choose at Rodeo Drive 3 weeks ago. They were coming back to the party, together, as if nothing had happened. Excuse me, Dixie said, her voice steady as steel. She didn't walk toward them. She walked toward the microphone on the garden's central stage, where the band had just finished their set. The countdown to midnight was 8 minutes away. Every eye in the Love Garden turned to watch her climb those steps. Good evening, everyone. Dixie's voice carried across the garden, amplified and clear. I hope you're all enjoying this beautiful New Year's Eve at the Love Garden. Applause rippled through the crowd. She spotted Randy near the jasmine, his face draining of color. Judy had disappeared into the crowd, but Dixie knew she was listening. 7 years ago, I married a man I thought was my partner. I built an empire with my bare hands while he signed the paperwork and took the bows. Her voice didn't waver. Tonight, I discovered my husband and my best friend have been having an affair. Gasps erupted. Phones emerged from pockets. Randy pushed through the crowd, panic flashing across his face. Dixie, stop! This isn't... Isn't what, Randy? True? She pulled out her phone, fingers steady. I have the bank statements, the hotel room charges in Austin, the jewelry purchases I never received. Marlene squeezed Clayton's arm. Several guests stood motionless, caught between horror and fascination. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones we're afraid to speak aloud, even when staying silent slowly destroys us from within. Randy reached the stage, his voice low and threatening. You're humiliating yourself. Think about what you're doing. I'm thinking clearly for the first time in years. Dixie turned back to the microphone. But infidelity isn't why I'm speaking tonight. 2 months ago, I discovered something else. She projected documents onto the screen behind her, the same screen meant for the midnight fireworks display. Financial records, forged signatures, transfer statements showing Randy had been systematically moving assets from their joint accounts into offshore holdings under Judy's consulting firm. My husband and my best friend weren't just having an affair. They were stealing the company I built. $70 million to be exact. They planned to file for divorce in January, leaving me with nothing while they disappeared to the Cayman Islands. The crowd erupted. Randy's face shifted from anger to genuine fear. The FBI is here tonight, Dixie continued, gesturing toward 2 agents emerging from the shadows near the garden entrance. I've been working with them for 6 weeks. Judy tried to run. She didn't make it past the rose arbor. The agents handcuffed Judy first. Her mascara streaked down her face as she screamed, Dixie, please, you don't understand. Randy said you'd never find out. He said you were too trusting. Randy lunged toward the stage exit, but Clayton blocked his path. I always knew something was wrong, man. I just didn't want to believe it. As the second agent read Randy his rights, he turned to Dixie with venom in his eyes. You stupid woman. You think you've won? Those hotels are in my father's name. You'll get nothing. You'll be forgotten in a month. The words hit harder than Dixie expected. 7 years of her life. 2 babies she'd lost while working 18-hour days to save his legacy. Countless nights she'd believed his lies about working late. Her hand shook as she stepped down from the stage. The crowd parted like she was contagious. Some whispered. Others recorded. Nobody approached to comfort her. She'd exposed the truth, but standing alone in the garden's cold light, victory felt hollow and devastating. Marlene broke, through the crowd first, wrapping Dixie in a fierce embrace. You are the bravest woman I've ever met. Then Clayton, his voice thick with emotion. The board meets tomorrow. We're voting Randy out. And Dixie, we want you as CEO. It should have been you from the beginning. One by one, other guests approached. Angela Thornton, a hotel investor from San Diego. Marcus Reed, the architect who designed their flagship property. Even the catering staff, led by a woman named Rosa who'd worked every Pachado event for 5 years. You remembered my daughter's name, Rosa said softly, tears in her eyes. You asked about her scholarship. Mr. Pachado never learned any of our names. Dixie's carefully constructed composure finally cracked. These people saw her. Really saw her. Her lawyer, Patricia Gomez, appeared at her elbow. The prenup your husband insisted on? It has a fraud clause. Everything reverts to you. The hotels, the accounts, all of it. Dixie had lost a husband and a friend, but she'd reclaimed something infinitely more valuable, herself. As midnight struck and fireworks exploded over Beverly Hills, Dixie stood surrounded by people who genuinely respected her. The FBI agents escorted Randy and Judy through the garden gates, their New Year's ending in federal custody. There's one more thing, Patricia said, pulling Dixie aside. I've been documenting everything for months. Randy's father's estate was never properly transferred. Legal loopholes, forged documents. The hotels were never legitimately his. They belonged to a trust. And you've been the primary operator and investor for 7 years. Dixie's breath caught. What does that mean? It means a judge will see you as the rightful owner. Randy has nothing. He never did. The cruelest twist of all. Randy had spent 7 years diminishing a woman who had been holding all the power from the very beginning. He'd just convinced her she was powerless. Clayton raised his glass. To Dixie Pichardo, the real architect of this empire. The garden erupted in applause. Genuine, thunderous, deserved. She'd walked in as a betrayed wife. She was leaving as an empire's queen. 3 months later, Dixie stood in the lobby of the newly renamed Pichardo Hayes Hotel Collection's flagship property in downtown Los Angeles. Her face graced the cover of Fortune magazine with the headline, "The Woman Who Built an Empire in the Shadows and Took It Back." Clayton had become her true partner, splitting ownership 50-50. Together, they'd expanded to 12 properties across California, Texas, and Florida. Rosa's daughter received a full scholarship and internship. Marlene joined as their chief operations officer. Randy and Judy faced federal charges for fraud and embezzlement. Their trial was set for fall. Dixie's office overlooked the Pacific Ocean. Some mornings, she still felt the phantom ache of betrayal, but mostly, she felt free. Free from shrinking herself, free from seeking approval from people who never valued her. Her assistant knocked. "Ms. Pichardo, the Women in Business Leadership Conference is ready for your keynote." Dixie smiled, straightening her blazer. She had a story to tell. About resilience, about reclaiming power, about women who refuse to stay silent. And this time, everyone would know her name. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. There are plenty more amazing stories coming your way, so don't stop here. Just click on the video showing on your screen and keep watching. I'll see you there.